worrying about making mistakes, worrying about wins and losses, to a place of gratitude. And I guarantee you that your team's performance and your performance as a coach will go up. What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out today's episode. I want to share with you today 2 secret weapons for going into the playoffs. You know, this is a time of year where the pressure starts to build and we start to focus on things that are actually outside of our control. And, you know, we start to think about winning. We start to think about, how we're going to perform in the playoffs. And these things are ultimately outside of our control. And I think it's a perfect time to go back to the reason why we started playing this game and why we started coaching this game. And, you know, we didn't start playing because we wanted to win state championships, because we wanted to win conference championships, because we wanted to get college scholarships. We started playing the game. We started coaching the game for the pure enjoyment that it brought us. If you go back far enough, when you started playing in like your Y league, when you're in first grade, second grade, you played because you love the game. When we go back to that, I think that gives us a much better ability to actually perform. Because I think like a huge issue that we have in our society with youth sports is that we allow ourselves, and we actually are teaching our kids this, that their self-worth is determined based upon their performance, right? If they play well, then they feel good about themselves. If they don't play well, then they're down and they're sad and they don't feel good about themselves. But the ironic part is, as much as we want to perform, as much as we want to play at like our highest level, the less we associate our emotional well-being with our performance, it actually frees us up to perform at our highest level. I think this is something that really has set Steph Curry apart. Obviously, this guy is like the most skilled player probably to ever play the game. But by NBA standards, he is a below average, probably close to the bottom athlete. And he's got great skills, but that only takes you so far. There are a lot of guys who have amazing skills, but do not have the mindset to be able to perform at the level that he does, or to maximize their skill set. And the one thing that Steph does is that when he walks off the floor, whether he goes 0 for 10 or he goes 9 for 10 from the three-point line, he still feels the same way about himself. And that actually frees him up to play the way that he does, to take the shots that he takes. Obviously, he's put in the time and he's put in the work in order to, give himself really the right to take those shots. But the freedom that he plays with comes from the fact that he's not defining his self-worth by his basketball performance. When he walks off the floor, he feels the same way about himself, no matter how he performs. The only reason that we really feel pressure is because we define ourselves, define our emotional well-being, define our self-worth based on our performance. If we were purely playing for the love of the game, there is no pressure, because our enjoyment is purely in the moment, right here and right now. It's not conditional upon results. Our enjoyment from the game is unconditional based on our love for the game. And so this is one thing. If I was coaching right now, going into the playoffs, I would try to get my kids back to that place. Really get your kids back to that place. And the way that you do that is by telling them through your actions, through your words, that no matter their performance, that you still love them no matter what. When kids understand that you care more about them as a person and how their life is going more than you do their basketball performance, it will definitely increase the way that they perform out on the floor. So if you can get your players to truly understand, truly know, truly feel through your words and actions that you love them, you are going to get the most out of them. And ultimately, I know that's why you got into coaching. It wasn't win to state championships. It wasn't win to win conference championships. It wasn't win to win the most games ever in school history. You started coaching to make an impact. You started coaching to help players live better lives off the court, because you want those kids to come back 10 years from now and talk to you about the things that you taught them that are impacting their life right now, with their family, with their career, with their relationships, those things that you instilled in them. The second thing, guys, so the first thing is love. Just find that love for the game and enjoy playing it and love your players. Second thing is play from a place of gratitude. Play from a place of gratitude. Take a second and just stop and think about how great you actually have it right now. It's all about perspective, right? It is all about perspective. You are living in a country where there's tons of different stuff going on, and we're more divided than we probably have been in a long time. But you still live in a country where you get to wake up and go to school and go to basketball practice. You get to go play basketball games, right? When I was coaching one of the first teams that I ever coached, I really struggled with putting too much pressure on myself, and therefore putting way too much pressure on the players that were on my team. And we hadn't been playing well in a tournament. And one of my mentors told me, he's like, you know what, just forget about all the X's and O's, forget about the strategy, and just get them to go out and have fun. And so in order to take the pressure off them, what I did is I gave them a story about the Second Gulf War, and about how this family came home in Iraq to find their father murdered. And this just put so much perspective into these kids' lives that, well, this is just basketball, right? This is just basketball. And they went out and they played the best game that they had played in a long time, because they weren't wrapped up in external things, points, rebounds, stats, wins, losses, things that they actually couldn't control. And by playing from a place of gratitude, playing from a place of love, both of those things are connected to the present moment. And the present moment is the only time that we actually have to perform at our highest level, the only time we have to focus here and now with the task at hand, whatever that is: guarding the basketball, closing out, taking a shot. We are playing in flow, we are playing in the moment. So going into the playoffs, two things. Remember why you started playing the game. Remember why you started coaching the game, because the enjoyment of it, the love of it, the impact that you wanted to make. And get your kids to try to play from a place of gratitude. Instill some perspective. Tell some stories to get them to shift their mindset from, worrying about making mistakes, worrying about wins and losses, to a place of gratitude. And I guarantee you that your team's performance and your performance as a coach will go up. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to check out this episode. I really hope that you guys got something from it. We just opened registration for our spring break camps in Milwaukee, our Point Guard Blueprint Academy in Milwaukee, May 12th, which definitely is going to sell out again. And we are headed back to Chicago, May 19th, for our Spring Coaches Academy. So you can get all the information by clicking on that link below. It'll go right to the latest events that we have. Hope to see you guys this spring.